We just talked about Watch Dogs. Let's answer a question. Maria writes in.
Maria.
Maria.
Reminds me of Maria. The kind of like R&B song with Santana that came out.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
that's
late
good.
90s.
Maria.
Yeah, and then they're like,
You're the mommy in the West Side Story.
yeah, and then it's like with the guitar by Carlos Santana. And then it's like,
And he plays.
That's
so weird, right?
It was so weird. Carlos Santana did a million like weird crossovers out of the blue. He had a whole album.
That's when he that's when he did
Him,
the
Michelle
Matchbox
Branch,
Matchbox 20 or whatever his song was. That was.
I think when you're on your 20th album, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, that album was. What was that album called? Damn it. I can see it in my
With
head.
Carlos Santana.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Carl.
I can't remember.
Maria says, hi, Greg, Colin, in the ever-rotating third chair. Beyond.
Beyond.
I've been excited for Watch Dogs since E3 2012, like everybody else, and since then, the game has been talked about a lot. The latest news, though, delays, graphic downgrades, have not been encouraging, and a lot of backlash about the game has overhyped and started to arise. Now that it's out, and most of the reviews are positive, I feel reassured about my pre-order.
Good.
But even though critic reviews have been positive, people are still saying that the game is crap because the game is not exactly what they expected it would be. Some graphical issues, overall tone of the game, not GTA 5, duh. What I want to know is, do you guys think that the low user reviews, currently 59 on Metacritic, are happening because Ubisoft announced the game early back in 2012?
I think that people nowadays genuinely have more fun talking about, hating on, or discussing or consuming media about games than they do actually playing them. I think that now that whole part of the culture has almost surpassed just sitting there and playing something and enjoying something with a smile on your face. Is the watching the downgrade, downgrade ton, we call it, and stuff like that. Watching delays happen, watching studios shift and layoffs and stuff like that. For the next few days, we're going to see tons of videos of glitches in Watch Dogs. We're only going to focus on the negative. The reality is, when that game was first shown, it looked amazing. Then we didn't see it for a while, and we heard bad things. And we came out, and now it looks really good, too. And people are doing comparisons. Digital Foundry did a comparison of what it looks like, the retail version, versus what we originally saw. And they're pretty damn close, if not identical. So I think people just want to see things fail. It's this sort of sadistic aspect.
I think there's plenty of people, who just are like, oh, it got delayed and it took too long, and I'm just sick of the hype train. So they go on Metacritic without having played it. If it's out today, today's the, granted, there's been early releases here and there, but not enough to where everybody could go out there and feel that. So
right,
it's like anything else. It's just the same thing when Call of Duty comes out and all the Battlefield people go on and lower its Metacritic score and vice versa, or PlayStation versus Xbox.
I mean, the game's what, 20, 30, 40 hours long? You finished it already? And you wrote a review on come on.
Metacritic, if you're paying attention to Metacritic user scores, don't.
Yeah, don't.
They're absolutely useless. But I as someone who doesn't even like review scores, I think Metacritic's interesting but somewhat destructive as well. But even for our own scores,
right?
Especially because the weights and all that kind of stuff. IGN scores are actually heavily weighted, and which is fantastic for us. But some smaller voices are snuffed out. It's not a true average. With that said, I feel a few things. First of all, Ubisoft is precariously close to becoming the next EA to a lot of people in terms of this is going to be the target of a lot of people's ridicule. I think Ubisoft's a fantastic company. They make great games, or good games, except Assassin's Creed, which everyone knows I don't like very much, but a lot of people do. I'm in the minority on that, right? They do Rayman, they're doing Watch Dogs, they do a lot of great stuff. And I think that people are looking for someone to hate, right? EA's kind of reversing a lot of its stuff with SimCity and all these kinds of things, and so everyone's they didn't win world's worst company or whatever the hell it is, because you have to be completely out of touch if you think they're the world's worst company. So I feel like Ubisoft has this stigma actually that's actually going to start to stick with it, because they're openly annualizing their games, and they're not sorry about it, and I don't think they should be, because the market wants them. I think we often get caught up in the negative on the internet in our little echo chamber, because in our little sphere, because we're kind of out of touch with the way normal people feel about games or what they know about games. For instance, with the Far Cry 4 controversy, everyone was like, well, Far Cry 3 was racist too, but no one really thought Far Cry 3 was racist, except for a few people on the internet. Far Cry 3 sold 9 million copies, and if you go ask the normal person that played Far Cry 3 or plays it online, hey, did you know that people think Far Cry 3 is racist? They're like, no, I had no idea.
I had no idea.
Because we don't. It's the same thing with Assassin's Creed, right? Everyone's like, aren't you ashamed that Assassin's Creed's being annualized now? And they're going to be like, no, because I like Assassin's Creed. And I like to play it.
Yeah.
Ubisoft listens to the market and listens to its users, and also has the time to make and the wherewithal and the money to make games like Child of Light or Rayman, which don't sell as well but are really good. So I think that haters are going to hate, and lovers are going to love, right? And
eaters going to eat.
Eaters are definitely going to eat. Although you're losing weight, I don't know.
I'm not losing nothing.
And so, yeah, to me, I'm more distressed by our culture of hatred and our culture of negativity on the internet. And I hope that we can start to get away with it. Now, we've all been there. We've all done that, right? We all have something negative or bad to say. But I've been trying to contribute a little bit more to the positivity. It's the same thing with, like, you know, The Order being delayed, and everyone was hating on me for it. And it's like, why? Like, I'm just giving my opinion. Like, why do we have to focus on negative things? Let's focus on the positive things of the games if we want to kind of have a more positive and constructive narrative about something. So it's all in our own power, and also not beyond us to understand that we really don't speak for everyone, and that we don't really have our finger on the pulse of the general gamer that walks into Walmart and buys a couple games a year. He doesn't know any of this is happening. He doesn't give a shit. He goes sees Watch Dogs. He likes it. He doesn't care that people are trying to find the negative. It's not going to stop him from buying it. It's not going to stop him from buying the sequel. You know, we have to keep that in mind. Context is really
I totally
important.
agree. If you want to justify that you still have $60 in your wallet, you can do it without shitting on something.
Yeah.
You just save your money and just be like, I saved my money. I wanted to hate that game. I hate it in my head. I don't care what anyone says positive about it. I hate it because I want to save my $60. Keep your $60. Just shut up. Let everybody else enjoy it. Because people are really enjoying it. This game's going to be probably the best selling game this month.
And it's one of those things where I definitely would welcome critical reviews from users. That's the thing. I want to make sure we're not saying, you know, critical opinion from users doesn't matter, but the ones who are out there giving it a 59 without it, you know what I mean?
No, if you are,
and I'm sure it's really if they're giving it a 3 and somebody else is giving it an 8 and they're trying to balance
3 hours after it was released.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, if you want to write a review on GameFAQs or write a review on a wiki or on your blog or whatever, that's great. That's fantastic. But
of course,
but play the game. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like Metacritic's user scores are just the absolute worst. They're like a minefield of garbage. They are useless battles that no one cares about except for these few people that want to fight about games they've never even played, and they have no validity right now. You know, maybe when the dust settles in we've had access to Watch Dogs for a while now, so and a lot of critics have, so those reviews should be, you know, I think trusted. Once you've spent time with the game and have a critical opinion of it, then you should put that out there. But just having this stupid Metacritic battle,
and it's sort of like it seeps into our culture a little bit too, where we have had the copy a couple copies of Watch Dogs for a little while now, and I kept saying to people like, well, is it good or is it bad? Because I heard it's bad.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, no, it's actually really good. Like, I don't know where all that negative shit came from, but it seeped into my brain. And I'm like, oh, well, it can't be good because I read everywhere that it's bad. And they downgraded it and they changed it from this and this and this. Turns out it's good. So I can't wait to play it tonight.
It just brings up, I think this brings up a bigger question of, like, why is everyone so invested in products that they have no ownership over? They, like, don't make, like, if, like, when I didn't like Grand Theft Auto 5 that much, right? Like, I stopped playing. I was like, I don't really care about this game. I really wanted to like it. I bought it and was excited about it. I'm like, I don't know.
It's not doing it for
me.
Right.
I like, and people were like, a lot of people were upset about this, and I'm like, why? Do you own Take-Two shares? You already got my money if you do, by the way.
Right.
Do you work at Rockstar? Otherwise, why do you care? It's the same thing I always said about, like, you know, I like 311 a lot, right? Like, a lot of people hate that band, right? Like, they think they suck and all that kind of stuff. I've been dealing with that for years, for a long time. I don't care.
Right.
You know, I'm
like
not
what you
in
like
311.
What you like.
You know,
right.
Like, I don't make any money from them. They take my money.
And
it's like that's the kind of stuff I'm saying. Like, why do you care?
I don't listen to 311. And I don't want to listen to 311. If you gave me free concert tickets to go see them, I would probably take you. Or just hand them to you. But I don't want 311 to die in a bus crash either. You know? I'm just like, I hope they keep making music. I hope they're successful. And I hope their fans keep loving what they do. I hope there's a Watch Dogs every year for the people that love Watch Dogs. But I don't want the people who make Watch Dogs to die or lose their jobs. I don't want the franchise to go away. I don't want the studio to close. Like, if it's something I have no interest in, it's allowed to exist somewhere out without constantly pleasing me. Because not everything has to please me. Things can just exist and please other people. And I have to be happy with that.
Yeah, or at least deal with it. Yeah.
You sound really thrilled about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want 311 to die in a bus crash.
Well, some people do, and that's, yeah, everyone likes something everyone hates.
Yep.
And that's never been relevant to me.